Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a fun video, another fun quick review for you. First of all, thank you for all of the lovely comments and compliments on my previous video. I was just asking about why you came to the channel, different things like that. You guys are just so sweet and very complimentary. So thank you. I am humbled by all of your wonderful comments. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. I must say, I just have to sidebar for my naturalistas out there. I am loving that my hair is growing and my poof is getting bigger. So I pulled my hair back further and this is just getting real poofy. I love it. I love it. I love it. Protective styling works, at least for me. But anyway, so it'll be going back up in a protective style next month sometime. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this review. This is, as you all know, and for those who don't, this is look number 8. What am I talking about? I have had my professional colors done back in April, and I did a whole series on that. I'll actually link to the specific video down below that you actually get to meet the person that did my colors. We talked about colors. Many of you already knew her, Victoria Baylor. She did a lot of work with Jim the tailor. But anyway, and so yeah, go check that out. I will leave that link down in the description box down below. So you all know, after I had my colors done, I then selected a subset of colors. I'll put that again here at the bottom of the screen, and chose 9 items that I was going to recreate based off some inspirational looks. And so now we are up to look number 8, and of course I will leave the playlist up here and down in the description box below. If you want to see what all of the previous looks were, I will do a lookbook of all of them as well. So yeah, I am so excited. We are in look number 8. Stay tuned for Wednesday. That is the final look number 9, which will be the handbag. And I actually decided to make a matching wallet. I think I had mentioned when I was showing all the fabrics and stuff I chose that I was going to make a wallet. I was thinking about it, I was playing around with it, but yeah, I decided to go ahead and make the wallet. So stay tuned for Wednesday, because you will see that final look. And then I think I should be able to do on next week Sunday all of the looks combined, and just an overview, my thoughts of creating this mood board and kind of pulling out some subset of colors. But you already know, coming up will be my fall winter mood board, and we are theming it off of my favorite color, which is purple. So let's jump in, because this, as you saw by the thumbnail, color is purple. If you remember, when I first showed this fabric, I switched up a couple of the looks. I was originally going to do, this is the Marsha style Sia dress, and this pattern company is based out of Australia, and I've had this pattern since August 2020, and I actually bought it based off of a Mimi G picture I saw on Instagram. I think had to be last summer, and so I remember purchasing it right away after I saw that, because I think the pattern might have been on sale at the time. And so yeah, I went ahead and picked up the pattern and decided, based off the inspiration look, which I will show you here. This was the inspiration, and so again, all of my inspiration looks aren't, you know, like exact that you see from those things that I selected from my Pinterest board, which I'll also link to the Pinterest board below if you want to see other things that I was interested in, that I really loved. But so it's not as flowy as this inspirational picture that you are seeing. but but the whole deep V and everything, the look, the vibe was just there for me with the Sia dress. And so when I initially showed you all the fabric, I showed you this purple fabric that I was actually going to do in the Mimi G cargo pants, but I switched it up and decided to do a different color in the pants, which I am so happy that I did, and I'm so happy I switched fabric. So even though I did, for a couple of the looks, I didn't use the fabric for that specific look I paired it with, I still use the fabric nonetheless, but just for a different one of the looks. And so for this one, I decided to use it for the Sia dress. Now, you all know, as you can tell from the pattern from the Sia, it is a deep V. You all know I don't do deep V's. That's not my ministry. If that's your thing, rock it. But I don't rock that. So my thing, this is about as deep of a V I will go without wearing a cami underneath. That's as deep as that we go over here. And so pause for the cause. This is the Rebecca Page Portia dress that I made into a top, and this is a free pattern. There is a full version pattern. The free pattern is knit only, but the full version, you can make this as a woven or a full length dress. I will leave a link. You all know I am a Rebecca Page brand ambassador. I will link down to this down below. So if you're interested in the free version or the full version, which of course you have more options and lining, you can line it, you know, all of that good stuff, woven, knit, everything is included in the full version. And so so yeah, that is what I'm wearing, because sometimes I forget. And then for, just so you all know, because I just said I don't wear, we just don't rock deep V's. I always wear anything that has a V that's deeper than what I'm comfortable with. I always wear a cami underneath. And I'm sure if you all been following my channel, you already know this pattern is my TNT. If there is a pattern that I make all the time or have made all the time, I have like 8 of these. It's the Rebecca Page, and you all know I've talked about this. I've done a separate video about this way before I was a brand ambassador. But it's the strappy cami, and the strappy cami is knit. Now the thing with the strappy cami, as I always say, is free to those who are subscribers. So you have to be a part of the subscription club, and you get this pattern for free, and it has 3 different options and everything. But that is what I wore underneath. I will also leave a link to the link where you can look and see if you're interested in this in the subscription club, because of course you know how subscription clubs with pattern companies come out, you get credits. Well, at least with Rebecca Page, you get credits and all that different type of stuff. But I'll just leave a link to that so you can go check that out yourself. But that is what I have underneath the Sia dress. So it gives me the right amount of coverage that I am comfortable with, and it's purple. I've had this, like I said, I've made 8 of these. This pattern is so easy to put together, and the only thing I have to do with the 8 that I made is actually shave off. I can go back in with my serger and just well, I'll probably cut it first. I don't want to just zip down with my serger, but I'll cut into this and just take off some on the side, because obviously many of the ones that I made when I was much heavier, so many of them are just way too loose. This one is not so bad because I made this one last summer, I want to say, but it is baggy. You can't tell in the photos, but it is baggy up around here. So I do need to take off, come in and just take off some, but it worked still nonetheless under the Sia dress. So that is what I have underneath. So let me go ahead and get into all of these notes for the Sia dress. Now this dress is absolutely beautiful. You do have two options for making this dress, a lined version and an unlined version. And so I always plan to make the unlined version, even in the other fabric I initially selected. And so I stuck with that. I stuck with the unlined dress version. I will say, because you have the, you can print off the, there's separate instructions, one for line, one for unlined. But I will say in the unlined version, there were still some references to lining, which maybe that's just how a couple things that just wasn't caught when the lined instructions were made. There's still some references to line. So, you know, just keep a lookout for that so you don't get confused or anything like that. But outside of that, I will say the instructions are super duper easy. You do have what I like, some of the features that I do like about it. I do like the waistband in the front, the high waistband, the arch, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then you have the in the front, you don't have darts, but you have these pleats, which look really nice. But the back bodice do have two darts in the back, so you do have that. And then it's just really easy to put together. Instead of, you are supposed to, there is a pattern piece for the neck binding, but I didn't have enough fabric to create, to cut out that piece. Well, at least it wasn't, because you obviously binding, you have to cut on that diagonal. It just wasn't enough there for me to do that. I do have some of this fabric left over, but I'll use it for pockets and jean pockets or something like that. But so I just use regular bias binding, and I will show you that as well. So far as putting everything together, I was very happy. Sometimes I struggle with my notches lining up, and I think that's more so how I sometimes cut things out. And if I'm not holding my scissors right at the right angle when I clip the notches, sometimes, you know, that happens. And I find sometimes my notches don't line up, but I was very happy that all of these lined up. One of the things about the sleeve, and I'll show you that here, the sleeve option that I chose was the tie sleeve, and which I thought, it just looked very pretty. And so the technique for making sure that the ties are fully lined, so you don't see, there's no raw side of that. So you really could, if you wanted to, depending on the fabric that you use, choose a contrasting fabric for your ties. So when you tie it, you just have a little peak of a different color on the inside of that tie. And again, I will show you that. Of course you do have the puff sleeve option as well. And so but again, I just did the tie sleeve. And then what else did I want to mention? I feel like it's something I'm missing. It was really easy to put together. I did have to lengthen the skirt. Now here's the thing, this is a short dress. Make sure you measure this. I wanted to go with the shorter version, which I see here, but I didn't realize, I thought initially when I had everything kind of laid out that, oh, this should work. That sucker was short, view C, short. So I end up adding back on 4 inches to view C, and which based on, you know, the full pattern, I could have just done the full version. It wouldn't have been, it would have hit pretty much, well, mine is just right at my knee, so maybe the full length version would have been right below my knee, but I like where this is hitting. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The fabric that I chose, and I will link to it because this, I linked to this before. This was in my Amazon store, because this is a fabric.com. This is a cotton, it has polyester in it. I can't remember. I'll put it, I'll link to it down in the description box just in case you're interested. But this is from fabric.com, and it did come through the Amazon store. So I remember getting it within a couple days, especially if you have Amazon Prime. And the size that I cut, now it took me, I sewed this over a couple days because I wasn't in a rush or anything like that. So it took me a couple days. You could sew it up in a day, you really could. Probably 6 hours with breaks and all of that in between. But over a couple days, it took me probably about that long, still 6 hours, but I just broke it up and was doing other stuff as well. The sizing, it took, oh, I wanted to say, don't be intimidated by the number of pieces. There are 13 pattern pieces for this dress. It doesn't look like it's that many pieces, but it's just with the waist tie, with the and then with, if you do the tie sleeves, because that is it has a lining piece. That's pretty much why. But so there are 13 pattern pieces. So the size that I cut, I started with a 12. I cut a 12 at the shoulders because I saw how the V went, and then I saw on Instagram a lot of different versions of it, and I saw how, you see how this here V kind of, it goes out, and I was afraid with the top part of this, if I left it a size 16, because I started at a 12 at the top and then just graded to a 16 right starting up under the bust, and I went a straight 16 down, and it fits beautifully. I love the way it fits. You'll see here in the pictures, but I was afraid that this would go out too far if I left it at a size 16 at the shoulders. So and my high bust is only a 38, yeah. And so I started with a 12 at the shoulder, and then I just went back out to a 16, just so I didn't have to worry about this here maybe falling off or showing my bra strap or anything like that. And so that's what I did. I went from a 12 and went to a straight 16 all the way to the end. Let me just go ahead now and show you the dress. So here she is, absolutely beautiful. So again, for that binding piece, I just used bias binding that was in my stash. And the binding piece, actually, because it will be the same fabric, this will be on the outside, but I chose to turn mine on the inside. Obviously, because my bias binding doesn't necessarily match. And I didn't want that contrast color on the outside. So that's how that looks. I used a navy zipper. It's an invisible zipper, and guess what, you guys, she is invisible. And look at my back seams line up and everything. Y'all say I've gotten better over the years with my invisible zipper. She invisible, and everything is lining up. All of my seams line up, so I absolutely love that. This in the front, see, that's that arch. I love that. That is so pretty. Almost reminds me of a built-in obi belt. I think that's how you pronounce that. And then these are the long ties, and I thought the tie length was perfect for me. If you like to wrap your ties around a couple times, you might want to consider lengthening this just a little bit, but I was fine with the length of mine. And then it does call for buttons. I think I said I needed to get some buttons. I thought I needed to get some buttons, but then I realized as I was finishing it up, the button placket is a faux, is not real, it's not functioning. So I just used 3 buttons I had in my stash, 3 purple buttons I had, and I think it actually called for view C, I think it called for 5, but I didn't want 5 buttons. I didn't need that, so the 3 was fine. And then here are the ties on the side. So on both, it's clean, a nice clean finish, and the instructions are really good for that, very easy to follow. So if you, this is what I was saying, if you wanted to do a contrasting color here for your ties, you most certainly can do that and just play that up a little bit. So as you can tell, that V is deep. It goes all the way down to the waist. One of the things I go back and forth on that maybe I could have done, it was maybe it looks fine, but maybe this bodice piece here, lengthen it about a 1/2 inch, just a 1/2 inch probably, but and that's fine. That means this part would lower, which is fine because I'm gonna wear a cami underneath anyway. Remember, we don't just flash the girls. But so yeah, that and is it, you guys. She is beautiful, and I'm actually thinking, I say this now, oh, I didn't tell you, she got pockets too. Nice pockets on the front. Oh, and front pleats right here. There are pleats, so you have the pockets, if I didn't mention that, and you have the pleats. So very, very nice. I know the longer version, you have the side pleats, side slit, and so, but I mean, I don't see why you couldn't add the side slit on this. The slit in the front, because there is a slit down the front, you will notice mine is not as deep. So mine really isn't. It's not much of one in the front, but it helps with movement since I don't have the side slit, so I do have the front slit. And so I think mine is only 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches, but I believe it's meant to go like 8 or 9 inches, something a little longer, but I didn't want as deep of a split in the front. So I will say this is a great pattern. I'm saying this now, I should, you know how we get excited about different dress patterns and stuff like that, but I'm thinking, because our church opens back up, like for physical service and everything like that, it's been online all this time, but we go back physically next month, and I was thinking this would be beautiful to wear to church that day. And so that's what I'm thinking. In my favorite color and everything. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that is it. That is my review. I absolutely love this dress. Like I said, the V does not intimidate me at all, because again, and don't let it intimidate you. Just wear a cami. Purchase a cami to wear underneath. If you have a woven cami that you can put on underneath, maybe you can do, or people who like the lace cami or something like that underneath, yeah, go ahead and do that. If you don't want to just have all of the exposure, or I'm sure you can play with closing this up a little bit, maybe adjusting the pattern piece where it goes from here and you bring it in more on both sides, so then this V is up higher, it'll meet higher, you know, those type of things you can adjust to your needs. But I was fine with the deep V because I knew I was going to wear a cami underneath. So I absolutely love how it looks. It is a beautiful fit. It turned out really well, and I love where it hits around my knee area and different things like that, and the fit in the back. It just looks really good. I love it. So yeah, that is it. I hope that you have enjoyed this review. I'm just looking over oh, that's what I forgot to mention. Let me say this now, close this out. When because the back calls for the back dart, and as you can tell, this fabric, you have to really look at it to tell what's the right and wrong side. So I actually cut my fabric. I usually always cut pattern pieces on the wrong side, and so but this time I cut everything on the right side, and I didn't catch at the time when I did my back bodice piece and I marked the darts. It was on the right side of the fabric, and I was like, oh no, this needs to go on the wrong side so I can do my darts. And so you know what I did? I've heard a lot about thread tracing and you know, that type of thing. I actually, because I could see the lines very clearly, I actually used a based stitch length on my machine. And because instead of getting up, going back over to the table, redrawing the retracing the darts, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I went ahead and used my longest stitch on my machine, my basting stitch, and I actually used the basting stitch over the dart lines for the back. And then I just, you know, obviously then just did my darts because I saw where everything needed to meet up. And you know what? I really like that. There is something to this thread tracing, because you know, I have all these little couture technique books and stuff that I've been reading, and especially the tailoring books talk about that as well. where you know, you hand tag the, you know, where you want to go and everything. But I said I'm gonna use my, sorry about that, I'm talking too much, my camera cut off, but I'm gonna use my machine. I did the basting stitch, and then I just did my darts like that, and I actually like that. So I might, don't hold me to it, because I don't particularly love putting in darts, but I found that my dart was more accurate because I just followed the stitch, you know, the base line to put it in. I find sometimes when I trace, my darts shift a little bit, and I try my best to pin them and all of that, but it's something to that. I think I might, don't hold me to it, but I think I might thread trace in the future, unless I do what I did before, which is also an idea, is to trace it on the trace it as normal on the wrong side of the fabric, and then do a quick baste for the darts and then put them in. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. Have you guys thread traced before? I think I really like that technique, and it just made my darts, I felt, look a whole lot better. And then of course you can pick out those basting threads afterwards. But that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and don't forget to stay tuned for Wednesday's video, my final look. And if you're interested in this free top, the Rebecca Page cami, which is free through the subscriber subscription club, oh, and Rebecca Page just released her classic blouse. I'll pop up a picture. If you follow my community tab, you've already seen this, but it's on sale for 20% off for next couple. I'll put it on the screen how long, but yeah, I'll leave a link down to everything below, of course, affiliate links, so you all know that up front. But thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts. Have you made the Sia dress? What do you like about it? And yeah, let me know what you think. I absolutely love it. All right, everybody, have a blessed one, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.